palpable. The excitement is palpable. I can feel it. All right, so again, we're going to get to the point. You know the rules. So first, let's talk about some of the expectations of the questions. So again, you guys submitted a number of questions. We really appreciate it. The real focus on this will be preparation for ICD-10. So these questions are geared to preparation for ICD-10. They're not going to talk about, you know, how specifically you might code somebody that fell off the stage, left his glasses, broke his arm. Not going to talk about coding, but talk about how you can be prepared for when that situation happens, you're ready. Okay? All right, so let's first meet our panelists. So I'll have them introduce themselves and the organization with whom they're with.
Hi, Evelyn Erdley, First Choice Health.
Hello, I'm Jessica Spytek with Primera Blue Cross.
Karen Warder, Family Care Network.
Michelle Lott, Washington State Medical Association.
Janine Lambert, the Everett Clinic.
Sarah Espanol, Regents Blue Shield.
Christine Kessler, Seattle Children's.
Elizabeth Beto, Cigna.
Okay, so as we go through and you answer, one request is always say your organization before you start. Okay? So a number of the providers would like to know, as you say that, if anything's health plan specific, they'd like to know that. So if you could just repeat your organization before you answer the questions. So same thing, what we'll do is we'll ask the question, 15 seconds to answer, and then see if anybody has any follow-up comment that they'd like to make. Okay? So who has question one? Karen. Okay, question one. Does ICD-10 apply to me?
Yes. Family Care Network.
Yes.
I failed. Family Care Network. Yes.
Okay. Anybody else want to comment on that?
Sure, yes. As a patient, as a provider, as a healthcare facility, any covered entity, it applies to us.
So any covered entity. Okay. Question two.
I think this is me.
Okay. How will ICD-10 affect me?
So from Seattle Children's, going back to the how does it apply to me as far as if preparations are not adequately put in place prior to the cutover date, the basic impact will be to your cash flow. So the effect from a preparation perspective is going back to what the two prior speakers said, which is ensuring that the plans are in place today. So understanding impact to your systems to ensure that those areas where you're dependent on external providers, so a vendor for your EHR, so you have an understanding of how is the vendor... You know, I missed the instructions at the beginning, so I want to pass on this one.
Okay, yes. So the general instructions
so I need rule refreshment.
In the lightning round, everybody has 15 seconds to answer the question.
Well, clearly I lost that, so...
All right, and then there's an additional 5 seconds if they need to conclude, and then everybody else gets to add. Okay? My
Got it.
apologies. Okay?
Yes.
So, would you anything in the remaining 5 seconds?
I will pass, and I have another card here, so...
Okay. All right, fair enough. Okay, so again, it is a broad question. Would anybody else like to pick up where Christine left off and continue? How will it affect me?
Washington State Medical Association, it's going to affect you because it's going to be basing how your providers are reflected in quality of care initiatives, pay for performance, meaningful use, and a lot of other initiatives that are coming down the pipeline. It's not just a coding change.
Nicely done. Sarah, I saw your head nodding. You want to contribute anything?
I was just agreeing.
Okay. So any other additional comments? Okay. Who has number 3?
Janine Lambert, the Everett Clinic.
Cool. Okay. Can't I just let my coder handle it? Yeah, that's the ticket.
I have 470 providers that say that. But I will tell you, your coders can handle a large part of it, the preparation, but it is organizational wide. We look at it as a regulatory project. It's a lights on, doors open, no glamour project, and it's not just a coder initiative.
Okay, anybody else want to contribute? Christine, you want to add to this?
The coders can only code what's documented. So just to reiterate, no, they can't handle it because if the documentation's not there, it can't be coded.
Karen?
Family Care Network, all of our providers select their own codes. So they don't do, the coders aren't responsible for that in ICD-9, so we won't be making that change for ICD-10.
So you just can't leave this to the coder?
Yeah.
No.
Bigger than that. Okay, who has question 4?
Michelle, Washington State Medical Association.
Will ICD-10 be more difficult than ICD-9?
I think the fundamental process of looking up the code is going to stay the same. The documentation is going to be more increased, and you're going to have delays and time. So it will pose challenges, but it is doable challenges.
Anybody else want to add?
I think this, Jessica Spytek from Primera, I think the challenges are different for the payers and the providers. So on the payer side, our challenges are all about, can we process the claims? Can we meet the same service levels? Are our systems adjudicated? And I think from what we heard, certainly from both of you, it's a different world. And I think the challenges that you will have in your organizations are somewhat different.
And Janine Lambert from the Everett Clinic, and a big part of it is making sure your documentation is complete and specific because of all the specificity in this code set.
Yeah.
So it seems a general message. It's not really the coding that's the challenge. The coding is the improvement and the changes that must be in place with the documentation so that the coding can be happening. So it's really the documentation that will really be affecting it. Next question.
Christine Kessler,
Okay.
Seattle Children's.
All right, cool. Won't my clearinghouse just make everything work?
Of course not. The clearinghouse can only process what you are sending them. So while you're dependent on the clearinghouse to be able to submit the claims to the payers, you need to be sending the correct information in your claims.
Other comments on that? Going once? Twice? Okay. Okay, now, all of those questions were really geared for the providers. So that's why the payers kind of took a back seat. The next questions are really related to the health plans. Okay, 6. Okay, oh, there's still a provider question. Oh, yeah. Okay, it's interesting to note that this question, person submitted with no name. Okay? What happens if I do nothing? Not there's an NSA out there watching these emails or anything, but what if I do nothing?
Janine Lambert, the Everett Clinic. 343 days from now, you will be doing nothing. You will have no reimbursement, and you will lose your ability to be able to file claims, to exchange data, to be in business. So I just have to reiterate, this is a lights on, doors open kind of project. So
I think what Janine just said is, if you do nothing, you'll be doing nothing. Anybody else like to contribute to that? Yeah, this is a must. Okay, question 7. All right. Will your websites have built-in coding tools that will allow the user to search for ICD-10 codes when entering referrals?
Sarah with Regions, and for Regions, the answer would be no, and we currently don't have any plans that require referrals right now at the moment.
Okay, and generally, can you more broadly for coding of claims or coding of anything, will you have coding tools on your website?
We haven't discussed having any toolkits or anything like that of that nature for codes. We believe that it's up to the provider to determine what codes to use and have resources available within their own organization.
Elizabeth?
Yes, for Cigna, we've actually been working on updating the website. We're in referral, the pre-auth, and then claim bundling and claim editing. We'll have the tools for ICD-10.
Jessica, Primera?
From Primera's perspective, all of our current systems and tools will be updated to accommodate 9s and 10s.
Evelyn, first choice.
We do not have coding translation tools, if that's the question. Our referrals require either a description or a code, so it's not just the code. If you don't have the code, you can give the description and we'll find the code, but no translation or coding tools.
So the general sense that I have is whatever tools are available today for ICD-9 will pretty much be available for ICD-10 on the websites, is a general sense that I get. Is that Elizabeth? Yeah. So that's a general sense. Okay, question 8.
I have number 8.
Okay.
Jessica at Primera.
Do you plan on conducting any type of provider education or training on revised processes?
We're not currently planning on providing training for providers. We're actively engaged in industry groups, OHP, and we'll keep our status up to date on what we are doing.
2 more sentences? You good?
Yeah, we're good.
Evelyn.
First Choice isn't planning on doing any provider training. We do educate through a newsletter. Our website has a lot of educational recommendations and tools. We go out and talk to our providers.
Sarah?
For Regions, we are sponsoring some ICD-10 webinars through Availity. That's happening this month. And we also have a section on our public provider website for ICD-10 information. So if anything's updated or any additional information is available, we'll put that out on our public provider website.
And Elizabeth, Cigna?
Yes, for Cigna, we have an FAQ on Cigna.com. We're going to put updates on the Cigna for HCP, and then we will also put information on our network news, which is sent on a quarterly basis.
Okay, next question. Last question in the lightning round. How can I get set up to test with your health plan? Elizabeth.
For Cigna, we don't test directly with providers. We test with trading partners or clearinghouses. So if you would like to test, our recommendation is to contact your trading partners or clearinghouse.
Sarah, Regions?
For Regions, we actually already have a pretty large list of facilities and physician groups that we're working with for testing that will happen in 2014.
Jessica, Primera?
For Primera, our approach is similar. We have a very small select group of facilities and professionals who we are testing with. We have engaged them already and have actively started testing, and we will keep our various groups, either our websites or OHP, informed of our results.
And Evelyn, First Choice?
First Choice is participating in the National ICD-10 testing program. We'll be testing with a few select critical providers and facilities, but we'll proxy test with all kinds of providers if they would like to.
Okay. So one of the things that came up that Evelyn mentioned was the national testing program. Raise of hands, people are familiar with it? Okay. So you might check out, I think it's National Testing Program.
National ICD-10 testing program.
If you Google that, and it's an opportunity to engage in a broader testing thing nationally, which some of the local plans are also participating in. So you might write that down as National Testing Program, Google it. That's what Evelyn is referring to, and First Choice is participating in that process. Okay, so with that, we've now concluded with the lightning round. Move on to Jeopardy. Teresa is passing out more cards.
Make sure that's on desk. Thank you.